Hello and welcome to the latest update for the sugarcane rainfall outlook for the Southern Queensland district. In this issue, we will look into how the Access S model verified for rainfall over August before covering September rainfall to date. We'll then cover the short-term weather watch points before seeing what Access S and international model rainfall outlooks have in store over the coming months. We'll start with the Access S model performance over the month of August. On the left, we have the observed rainfall for August. In the middle, that rainfall converted to percentiles or deciles, with white dots representing near median rainfall, darker blue dots above median rainfall, and darker red dots below median rainfall. And on the right, we have the Access S August outlook issued on the 13th of July, with the accompanying skill map. We can see that the forecast for August has moderate skill of around 50 to 65% past accuracy across the growing region and was forecasting a low chance or 30 to 45% of exceeding the August median rainfall around the Maryborough, Isis and Bundaberg growing regions and neutral odds of 45 to 55% around the Sunshine Coast. The Access S model performed well around the Sunshine Coast as evident by the white to blue shaded dots, which observe rainfall close to what is climatologically expected for the region for the month of August. However, whilst the model did capture a dry August outlook for the Maryborough, Bundaberg and Isis growing region, it fell short of forecasting the extreme dry, with most locations across the region observing August rainfall in the lowest 10% of records, compared with all August since 1900, particularly around and inland of Bundaberg. It should be noted though that rainfall in this region is generally low at this time of the year, generally in the range of 15 to 35 millimetres, with rainfall deficits in the order of 10 to 25 millimetres experienced last month. The dry trend has continued throughout September, with monthly rainfall to date well below what we'd expect for the month across all growing regions, most notably across the Bundaberg, Maryborough and Isis growing regions, where September rainfall totals to date are in the lowest 20% of the climatological mean, with roughly up to 10 millimetres falling broadly across the region so far this month, and some locations even yet to have recorded any rainfall. However, around the Sunshine Coast, we have recorded 40 to 60% of the climatological September rainfall so far. Here we have a model comparison of the 7-day rainfall accumulations from 10 p.m. Thursday the 28th of September to 10 p.m. Thursday the 5th of October. We can see from the different amounts of rain the European EC model and the Australian Access G short-term models are forecasting that there's a high level of uncertainty around the forecast across the entire region. Despite the rainfall depicted in the models shown, there is a strong consensus across all guidance that all growing regions will remain dry until at least Tuesday or Wednesday next week. As the high pressure system gradually moves across Australia over the next few days, maintaining a ridge over Queensland into early next week. A cold front is then forecast to reach the region mid to late next week, increasing the risk of showers and possible thunderstorms during Wednesday and Thursday. The current run of the EC model has analysed a stronger front which pushes further northwards over the growing region, whereas Access G has a weaker front which slips further south. The EC model is currently the outlier, with all other guidance, including the US and Japanese short-term models, more in line with the Access G analysis. So at this stage, we can have more confidence in a dry week ahead. However, if the EC scenario does eventuate, we may see some light showers developing about the Maryborough, Bundaberg and Isis growing region during Tuesday and Wednesday next week, with the wettest day expected to be Thursday the 5th of October across the entire region, with rainfall totals in the range of 3 to 10 millimetres possible. Here we're looking at the Access S model forecast chance of exceeding 25 millimetres of rainfall over a week starting from the 1st of October to the left and the 8th of October to the right. You can access these maps from the BOM Climate Outlooks page and choose from a number of rainfall thresholds, with this model data being updated daily. Looking at week 1, the modelling suggests there is less than 10% chance of receiving 25 millimetres or more of rainfall across the growing region. Slightly higher odds in week 2 across the Sunshine Coast and Maryborough region, where the odds of receiving 25 millimetres or more increases to 10 to 25%. However, remains below 10% for the Bundaberg and Isis areas. Moving on to the month of October, and we're looking at low odds of 30 to 35% chance of exceeding the median October rainfall through the Bundaberg, Isis and Maryborough regions, lowering further to a 20 to 25% chance of exceeding median rainfall for the Sunshine Coast. The model skill during October is high for the Maryborough, Bundaberg and Isis growing areas, with 65 to 75% accuracy in the past, tending to moderate skill about the Sunshine Coast region, which boosts our confidence in the dry forecast. This means rainfall amounts lower than the historical median for the month is more likely, as we can see by comparing the 50% chance of at least map on the left with the historical median map on the right. For areas around Maryborough and the Sunshine Coast, rainfall amounts are expected to be well below average throughout October. Breaking the rainfall odds down further for October with the high or 75% chance of receiving at least values on the left and the lower or 25% chance of receiving at least values on the right gives us an idea of the potential rainfall spread for the month. Eyeballing the maps, we can expect rainfall totals to be higher inland of the Sunshine Coast, with 25 to 50 millimetres possible for the month. All other growing regions can expect 10 to 25 millimetres during October. So how confident can we be with our below median October rainfall outlook? Here we have a comparison of the October rainfall outlook from various international climate models from the US, Italy, Germany, Canada, Europe, Japan, the UK and France. The colour scheme here is representing terciles, so the rainfall is partitioned into thirds, with rainfall amounts in the yellow and brown colours representing forecast rainfall in the lower third, so a drier than median forecast, white colours indicating rainfall in the middle tercile, so closer to median, and the green and blue colours indicating rainfall forecasts in the upper tercile, so wetter or above average rainfall. All international model outlooks are falling within the middle or slightly lower tercile, with the German model leaning towards a stronger dry signal, indicating median to slightly dry conditions across the southern Queensland growing region, so we can have good confidence in our drier outlook from the Access S model. Further to this, here's the consensus forecast of all the international models combined for October. Taking the average of all the model outlooks from the previous slide shows rainfall probabilities fall into the lower tercile, indicating near to slightly below median rainfall along the southern Queensland growing region, a similar pattern to the Access S model. And looking ahead to the longer term November to January rainfall outlook from the Access S model. The model has high skill at this time of the year across the growing region, with 65 to 75% accuracy in the past. We're seeing a near median outlook across the Bundaberg, Maryborough and Isis growing regions, with a 40 to 45% chance of exceeding the median rainfall across the outlook period, with a slightly drier outlook with odds lowering to 30 to 35% for the Sunshine Coast. And looking at the international model outlooks for the same time period, we can see most model forecast rainfall falling into the lowest tercile, so drier conditions, with the US or NCEP model falling into the middle tercile or near median rainfall. And here's the consensus forecast of all the international models combined for the November to January period. Taking the average of all the model outlooks from the previous slide shows that rainfall probabilities fall into the lower tercile, indicating near to slightly below median rainfall across southeast Queensland growing region. If we map the Access S November to January forecast of 35 to 45% chance of exceeding the median into terciles, that would fall into the lower tercile on these maps. So this reinforces that Access S forecast and increases our confidence. With El Niño declared for the region last week, this forecast also aligns with expectations of slightly lower than average spring and early summer rainfall for the southern Queensland growing region. That's it for this update. This is the last video for the 2023 Sugarcane Rainfall Outlook series. Please continue to monitor the Bureau's seasonal outlooks at www.bom.gov.au. We will monitor for any significant changes from the seasonal forecast during the harvest period and provide updates as necessary. For general queries about the Bureau's agricultural decision support services, please contact agriculture@bom.gov.au. As always, check the latest forecasts and warnings on the Bureau's website or the BOM weather app. Thanks for listening.